Hello, Ollie, the tea guru here, and I'm sipping some tea, and I thought I might invite you guys along for the ride. So let's see what I'm brewing today. Today I'm on some 1998 7542. So this is super old, right? Well, super is pretty old. Now, good question for you. Do you think you've ever been scammed in the tea world? What I mean by that, scammed in the way of, have you ever been sold old raw pu-erh, and maybe you think it isn't raw pu-erh? Maybe it might be Sheng. Well, it's your lucky day, because I'm going to show you a little test that you can make on your tea to find out whether it is genuine old tea, or is it just some out of the gate 1 or 2 year old Sheng. Here's a nice little tip for you, okay? So what you need to do, you need to find a stem, yeah? So you find yourself a stem, okay? If you want to know whether this is actually Sheng or Sheng, Sheng will always bend, okay? Sheng will turn to mush. So if you're not sure that you've been sold genuine old raw pu-erh, that's a very good trick to learn. If you guys are wondering why Sheng will disintegrate, it's purely down to the fact that Sheng is 100% or near to it fermented, whereas Sheng is fermenting. That means that because the Sheng leaf is so fermented, it just absolutely turns to mush. There are some Sheng that, you know, they hold back on the processing a bit, and of course there will be a little bit more flexibility with those stems, so look out for that. And also with the lesser fermented Shengs, some of the initial characteristics of the tea is held as well, so there is a slight bit of crossover, I would say, but you know, just to make things more complicated for you. Now, trained taste buds will know the difference between a Sheng and an old Sheng, okay? Because an old Sheng will have many more complexities than a Sheng, okay? Also, there will be a veil of bitterness, most likely, with the old Sheng, where a Sheng will have, in most cases, close to zero bitterness. So, do the test with the stalk, and then let your taste buds do the testing. You know, old tea, I have no idea why this is, but qi is a factor as well. So 7542 is just really, it's a basic recipe from a big house, okay? The Munghai Tea Factory is a mammoth corporation. They just make tons and tons of tea and whack it out of the factory. When it comes out of the factory, it doesn't really have much qi going on. But the interesting thing is, the older a tea gets, the more qi you'll notice. So, you know, this is 23 years old tea. I'm on infusion 5, and I notice it's not gushu levels. It's barely sort of dashu level, but I'm noticing some qi. Super interesting. I mean, why is this? I mean, it just goes to show that qi is inside all raw pu-erh. It just sometimes takes a bit of time, or a few decades, to manifest. I mean, you know, it just raised that question. I mean, I've had this question before about qi. What is it? It just boggles. Where's it come from? But I just do find it super interesting that qi raises with age. So odd, so odd. But just throwing that in there. If you're still not sure, phone a friend or speak to the guru. So guys, I really hope those little tips have helped you to establish what you've got is genuine old tea or not. I mean, to be fair, if you're going to be perusing the cesspits of eBay, etc., then yeah, you know, you will get what's coming to you. Stick with proper vendors. That's what I say. Stick with proper vendors. Any excuse for me to shill, I'll be there. Anyway, let's talk more about this tea. Look how dark this stuff is. This is infusion 4. I have no idea what the storage is on this. I'm blind to that fact, but if I had to bet, I'd say it's not exactly humid storage. It's not exactly dry storage. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. So in case you don't know, the first sort of 3 infusions will let you know more about the tea storage. So if it's natural humid storage, for example, the first 3 infusions, you'll know about it. It'll be very sort of muddy, if you like. If you don't like that, skip through the first 3 infusions and the tea starts to open up a little bit more interestingly. Taste-wise, infusion 5, I mean, you know, the bitterness is still there. Slight earth. It's still actually deep and bitter, which lends me to believe that this really hasn't seen super humid environments during its storage. Taste is slightly earthy. It's still quite bitter, even after, what, 23 years? It's quite nuts. But you can see the soup, how dark this is. This one will easily be going 20 infusions, 25 infusions, 30 infusions potentially. The taste right now, and it is going to change over the course of the infusions, very slight sweetness coming through, woody notes, and bitter, as I said, still quite bitter. It's good, it's good. We got the aged taste just carrying on forever. Sweetness starting to pop. Well, actually, sorry, the sweetness started popping probably about infusion 7 or 8, and it's still here. You know, if you've got enough perseverance, you can just, you know, keep infusing this 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes to get every last drop out, and it will give. You know, this one can easily go 25 to 30 infusions. And that's the beauty of aged tea. You know, it just keeps on giving. So yeah, I'm on, I'd say currently infusion, I forgot this. I'd say I'm currently on infusion maybe 18, 19, 20, that kind of area. This particular 7542, it's okay. You know, it's been pretty one-dimensional all the way through. It's still kicking out bitterness, you know, at these high infusion rates. It's still kicking out good flavour. The colour's still good. I'm having to infuse these for I don't know, a minute or something to get what I need out of it. You know, it's okay, but I got to say, for me, my favourite kind of area for 7542 that I've tried is probably somewhere between the sort of 6 and 10 year age mark. It's really down to storage, to be honest. I've had some 7542 that was Yunnan stored, and then I brought it over after 4 years of its life, and I carried it on for another 2 or 3 before I sold it all. And after I took it on, I did notice that the sweetness really started to pop. The 7542 that I have in stock right now, which I believe is 2011, hit the 10-year mark. But no, that's my personal preference. I mean, you know, this is 23 years old. It's still got a truck ton of bitterness, which is quite impressive. If you guys have never tried a recipe like 7542 straight out the gate, if you're a masochist, you'll love it, because it's just going to slap you around the chops. It's just a bitter fest, and you know, some of us do like that. If I feel I need that kick, it's there waiting for me. Not that I've reached out to those kind of recipes, being 1 or 2 years old, for a very long time. If you're really searching for that kick in the face, it's there. But for me, the beauty of a dai recipe is in the growth that it will undertake over time. And yeah, it's a decent drop. It's been Ollie the Tea Guru, and thank you so much for stopping by, and see you on the next episode. Happy cupping. Have you sniffed your poo recently? Because I'm here in my tea room. I've probably got, I don't know, over 100 kilos of tea, and the room is aromatic. It's so aromatic. When it's hot weather, the tea cakes are just buzzing with activity. All the fauna and the flora on the cakes are awake, and they are buzzing. Which means the tea cakes are fermenting, and it's just a glorious time for tea. I believe that during the summer months is when the pu-erh tea tastes the best as well. Winter time, it could be a little bit flat. It's a bit cold. There's no progression within the cakes. Everything's sort of asleep and dull and dormant. Come summertime, everything's alive and fresh and kicking. So if you haven't touched your pu selection for a while, do yourself a favour and dip into that stash, because it is the best time of the year to enjoy it. All the best, guys. Ollie, the tea guru.
Yeah, go, go, go!